Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round number 11 of the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series. Here we are finally at Auto Club Speedway, formerly known as the California Speedway, leading from its opening to February 2008. This is located 76 kilometers away from LA, and it is 2 miles long, holding NASCAR annually since 1997. But yeah, we are heading into a new server, so we'll probably kick up our timer again. Not the side that we wanted, but why not? We'll yeah. Anyway, while we're switching servers, just a new server going up for one of the drivers that want to join here tonight. California Speedway since November 1995 to February 2008. This was nicknamed California Speedway, and it's only 47 miles away from LA. Like I said before, 2 miles long or 3.219 kilometers, holding NASCAR races annually since 1997, which it did open in June 1997. But anyways, Paul, you are switching servers. Auto Club, I'll drag you into this one. We have nothing on screen yet, but we might as well have a bit of a chat. How do you feel about Auto Club? Have you raced here before, or what opinions do you have of this racetrack?
Good evening, Ryan, and everyone tuning in tonight. We just had a bit of a server technicality, so we're just switching to a new server. But Auto Club Speedway. So I have raced at Auto Club before, as most oval tracks, and it can produce some pretty good racing, and the field can get quite spread out as well at Auto Club. So you do get a bit of tyre wear as well. There's a bit of banking there, and it looks like the trucks in practice were getting quite loose in the rear as well. So probably want to keep those right side tyres under themselves tonight. Otherwise, we could see a few getting a bit loose and maybe losing the grip on the rear of the truck.
That's correct. And just speaking with the tyre wear, the drivers do have 5 sets of tyres that they can use throughout the race to switch onto, and a fresh rubber to jump onto and cut laps with, and just set the pace. And speaking about setting the pace, we will just quickly read through the qualifying results heading into this race. Now we're back into the session. Cars will be running around. Holdsworth on pole from Nitro Racing. He's stuck it on pole here with a 39.622, which is pretty good. Pretty clean, pretty good lap for Jason. And you can see the track facts there. I've already gone through there already. Just 2 miles of a racetrack here at Auto Club that can fill just over 122,000 people, and low banked D shape. But I'll just go back over to our starting grid before we do switch over to that in approximately 5 or so minutes. Holdsworth on pole with Darren McKenzie in second, Daniel Stevens in third, Trent Gosley fourth, Aaron Dillon, he's in fifth, and Glenn Klein, he's in sixth with Aiden Schultz. Bit of a troublesome young lad. He's in seventh. Then Dave Douglas, Double D, he's in eighth. So that's a pretty good starting position from him. Maxi Marshall, ninth. Gary Wellman, 10th. And that's just your top 10. So pretty good field, pretty close as well. And we've already had our pre-qualifying, so that's setting the grid. And whatever I just called out just before is how it's going to start out. Everyone's heading out on track. So in a second we can do some onboard shots and follow some people around before we head into our race. But we do have a couple cams here tonight also, so that's going to be something we can utilise and watch and really see how these drivers perform, see how they are in real life too. Most of the time they're wearing a smile, and some new faces. We have Jai Schultz, he's one of them. We also have Steve Hoppett. We'll jump over to Steve Hoppett in just a second to have a little look-see at Steve when the cameras are ready to do so. But at the moment, not too much action is happening at the moment. We're getting ready to head into our 100-lap race. So it's a long one as per usual. And look at the cars buzzing by. They're looking really nice. A lot of nice paint jobs there. And you can see everyone's really consistent with how they're going through. So I reckon it's going to be a really close race. And with a good result.
All right, and I did notice there's some new paints from the Skypoynt race team. And even Aiden Schultz has got a new Southern Stars paint on tonight. So the Skypoynt trucks are looking really nice and clean tonight. I really like that paint. Yeah,
and redesigned by Andy. He loves to design up the paints, redesign the paints, and just give everyone a nice fresh look. And that's what he's done here tonight. So check it out check it out when the drivers do pass by. We just have a Skypoynt car running by right now. That looks like it's Andy Barber. I should know him. He's my dad. And look how nice that looks. The Skypoynt number 5. Also running alongside with his Skypoynt teammate of Tom Pritchard, who's also running here tonight. Doesn't look like he's on track. Andy Barber jumping down into the apron. We'll head through the Southern Star guys too, so if you want to check out their paints as well, we have Aiden Schultz, we have Adam Malone, we have Darren McKenzie, and others, but they're not on track at the moment, so we can't check out their paints. But we're ticking down the time before we do get into our green flag action here tonight. And in the session that we are currently in, guess who's quickest? Dave Douglas, our reigning champion. He's not starting pole, he's starting a bit further down in the field, but it looks like his truck is really suiting these conditions. But Paul, not too much to observe so far, but what do you expect to happen here at Auto Club?
Well, yeah, it's probably about who's going to get the best run, I guess, and make their tyres last. I don't predict there'll be too many cautions tonight. I reckon we'll get some good green flag running tonight. And unlike last week, we had quite an upset on the track there. So I don't think we could have predicted how last week's race was going to finish. But yeah, I think tonight might be a different story.
Yeah, and last round was actually pretty cool to watch. That's Aaron Dillon there just drifting off from the apron, staying off the wall. He doesn't want to hurt that truck before the race too, so just be careful there, Mr. Aaron Dillon. But last round was actually a pretty good one. It was pretty action-packed, a couple of cautions, a couple of rivalries, teammates getting into each other as well. I won't say who. I'm not going to give the commentators curse to him because I'm pretty sure I've given it to him the last 2 rounds. Done a smack in the wall. Down the back stretch. But that concludes our practice session before we head over to our race server. Our race session, should I say. If we jump servers, I reckon I'd be a little bit worried. But I will go through our starting grid for round number 11 here at Auto Club, Motor Speedway. Nitro Racing, pole position, Jason Holsworth. He's lined it up in pole position with Southern Stars Esports. Darren McKenzie, number 2, Southern Stars entry. He's filling the front row next to Jason with Daniel Stevens in 3rd. Trent Gosley, that's ending your 2nd row with Aaron Dillon. Glenn Klein, that's your 3rd row with Aiden Schultz. And keep an eye out on him tonight with Dave Douglas in 8th position, starting next to Aiden, reigning champion from A1's Tim Sports, I would assume. Maxi Marshall in 9th, and ending your top 10 is Gary Wellman. Riley Curtis in 11th with Toddy Maxfield in 12th. Hot Toddy's heating installs. I give him another shout out because he's awesome. Andy Barber from Skypoynt Racing, Southern Stars Esports. He's lining up in 13th with his teammate starting next to him in 14th. Tony Roffey in 15th. Christopher Finlay in 16th. Stephen Williams 17th. Craig Roffey from Middle Split Racing, he lines it up in 18th with Colin Findlin He's running alongside the Stars and the Skypoint guys. US driver jumping in too. He's having a late one, jumping in for some awesome fun here at Auto Club Motor Speedway. Che Mello, he ends your top 20 with Andrew Dyson, not the vacuum cleaner, from simrigs.com DPR. He's in 21st. Adam Malone, not too hot of a qualifying session for him. He starts out in 22nd. Kim Roffey in 23rd with Jai Schultz. He's in 24th. And we roll over the page yet again to Henry Fenton, 25th. Nigel Seidel, 26th. Luke Kenny in 27th. Chris Tomlin in 28th. Steve Hoppett in 29th. Will Jesberg in 30th. Kobe Jordan in 31st. And Luke Crummy, that ends your 32 car field here tonight at round 11 of Auto Club Motor Speedway. That didn't make sense, but it made sense to me. However, we are getting ready to go green flag for the first time tonight for round number 11. I've said enough. If I asked you what round it is and I asked you what track it is and you didn't answer correctly, I'd be surprised because I've said it at least 10 times. But restart zone enabled and they go green for the first time here tonight. Lap 1 out of 100. 99 to go. Everyone's starting to spread out down the back end here, but leading into turn number 1 is Jason Holsworth from Nitro, and that's Daniel Stevens. He's tucked up behind him. Darren McKenzie's chosen to take a high line, and he's starting to fall back with Aaron Dillon having to go on the inside. Aaron Dillon, bit of contact, and then he flies into that fence. Hard impact, and that's his night done on lap number 1. That's a hard impact into that inside wall down the back stretch. Not too sure what happened there. We'll check it out very shortly, but we are focusing up at the front here where we have a new race leader, Daniel Stevens. He's effectively our race leader at the moment, and he is our race leader. Jason Holsworth now falls behind him. Aiden Schultz moves up 4 positions into 3rd. Trent Gosley stays where he is in 4th. Darren McKenzie, he's dropped back 3, and he's just going to sit there, be patient. Dave Douglas is behind him. He's up 2 positions too. So positions are swapping. First car out tonight, Aaron Dillon having a big impact into the inside barrier there, and that's definitely a write-off for the 013 Simboys entry. He's out early. Adam Malone, he is 2 laps down too. Doesn't look like he started the race. Unfortunately, he must have had some internet issues just scrolling through to Skypoynt Racing. It doesn't look like he's even in there. So it looks like internet or power. Never mind, he's on the track. I'm wrong. But you know what I'm not wrong about? Daniel Stevens. Let's talk about him yet again. He's up in the lead. Trent Gosley now has set the quickest lap of the race too, so he's on the charge as well. He's up 1 position. Aiden has now moved back into 4th, and taking charge of the field is Daniel Stevens still, with Jason Holsworth just sitting behind him. 3 laps down so far, and it's ticking away quick. And in no time, we're going to be 1/10 of the way through. But looking back further down the field during the mid-pack, to the mid-pack, should I say. That's Dave Douglas, Glenn Klein, Andrew Dyson, and other people. Andrew Dyson down the bottom. He's gone past Riley Curtis, and now he's trying to have a go at good old Dave Douglas very shortly when they head down the back stretch. Yet again, and he's on the charge for Dave. Look at the shots down there to see how visible the Skypoint Racing cars are. There's actually 3 of them, so it looks like they are running a 3rd driver, and that would be Colin running with the Skypoint. Not to boast or anything like that, but I run under the Skypoint name too, so it's pretty cool seeing more than 2 guys out there at once. But pretty clean start so far, bar that 1 contact earlier in the race. If we could get a replay of that soon, that would be awesome, but we will figure that out soon. But now we actually will jump over to the replay and see what happened there, because that is an unfortunate end to Aaron Dillon's race heading down the backstretch. This is on lap 1. Just gets together with either Darren McKenzie or the number 4 of Trent Gosley. And that contact has sent him right into the barrier. Look at the onboard here. Just trying to steer out of it and into that tyre barrier, sending the car up, and then see the revs drop. He just blew his engine on impact. And that's not how he wants his race to go. But he's still in the Discord channel. And we'll have a talk to him in a few laps' time when just kind of settled in. I don't want to drag them up and have an angry driver. But lap number 6 so far out of 100, we have just over 200 miles in this one. I'll do a quick little calculation because apparently I'm good at math. But about 200 miles is this race. So 100 laps that is. So it shouldn't be too much different from Talladega. This is still a high-speed thing. But now we're starting to see a move from the number 52 entry of Aiden running one of the old Southern Stars entry. He's made a overtake on Trent Gosley, and he moves up into third position from 4th. Darren McKenzie still sitting in 5th position, and a couple of moves being made down the back end of the field. Having a look at Tom Pritchard in the number 6. He's starting to have a little look-see at number 6 of number 64, should I say, of Glenn Klein, Stephen Williams, and looks like he's starting to try and get those moves done. We'll jump on board with him. Actually, he's starting to make some awesome moves. We'll see from the driver's perspective, and hopefully next week we might be able to see his beautiful face, and we'll just sit on board with him for a little bit and see how he's going to make this move on the number 64, just ahead of him, Glenn Klein. You can see how close they are getting together. Tom Pritchard up 2 positions, and he is looking at gaining even more. Ten laps ticked over so far out of 100 laps. Never mind, I'm incorrect. 9 out of 100 laps so far. It's getting a little bit too quick for me. I keep thinking the race is going quicker than it is, and I'm like, well, so many moves have been made so quickly. And talking about moves, Andrew Dyson, he's up 14 positions, so he has been on the move since lap 1. He's done a good job. He's starting to knock on the back door of his fellow mate in the number 1, Dave Douglas. And they're sitting in the same Discord channel together too, so he'll be giving Dave Douglas a little bit of a horn, keeping his mirrors nice and full of that number 041, just showing off the Simrig's bonnet, saying, hey mate, you want to get one of these? Anyway, that's a pretty shit joke. But looking further up the field now, Aiden Schulz, he's leading the secondary pack, which is starting to get some moves done. We have Dave Douglas, he's moving down the bottom, and he's got him past Brayton Gosley, and now he's trying to get past Darren McKenzie down the bottom, heading into the D oval, heading onto lap 12. But so far, PJ, what have you observed so far, apart from a lot of good racing?
Well, as I predicted, we're green flag still, although, Aaron Dillon had a bit of a mishap there at the start of the race, which cost him his night. But, everything pretty standard. Some drivers running the low line, some sort of running mid, and a couple even running a bit higher. Maybe just trying to save a bit of that tyre wear for a bit later in the race. But the one thing I noticed, all these passes, they're really using that draft and then diving under the trucks into one, trying to get that draft and slingshot, dive in early into one, get round the trucks and come out in front out of 2 to get that pass done.
Yeah, and passes are being made pretty frequent as well. I'm just having a look at the drivers list so far. We only have one driver out, and unfortunately that's Aaron Dillon. At the moment, looks like he's caught up to the field too, so he's not any lap down at the moment. He's on the lead lap, so that's good to see also. And just looking up and down the field, a few cars moving around. However, strategies, I speak strategies every round, and it's pretty much the same thing every round, is just get to the end, and that's all that matters. We saw last round a lot of cars getting bashed up earlier on in the race, which left them with no fighting chance at the end. So hopefully drivers learned from good old Daytona and brought that knowledge to Auto Club. But speaking about last round, heading into Auto Club, looking at move being made here by Dave Douglas on Aiden Schultz for the front. And Andrew Dyson and Trent Gosley. Everyone's moving around, and that promotes Dave Douglas into third position on the podium. It's only lap 15 out of 100. 15% of the race is complete. Well, is ready to be completed, and Jason Holsworth makes a quick move on Daniel Stevens. Daniel Stevens leading a lot of the race after getting past, and Jason now taking that position back and now getting back into the lead with Dave Douglas trying to catch up from them behind. But so far so good, 15 laps in and no caution.
Well, I heard a little birdie told me that Jason Holdsworth's done a lot of practice around officials in the trucks at Auto Club this week, so no surprise to see him up the front there. And Daniel Stevens and Jason Holdsworth, they've got about a 2-second gap over third now, so they've slowly been increasing that gap as that second pack there with Dave Douglas, Andrew Dyson, Trent Gosley, Aiden Schultz and Mackenzie. They've all been fighting a bit, so it's allowed these two at the front just to stretch their legs a bit and get a nice little gap over them.
Yeah, and speaking about gaps are starting to form too, and the leaders are starting to push away from the field, but everyone hasn't really separated as much as I would expect for Auto Club. Such a big truck, such a big tyre wear, 5 sets of tyres, that does indicate how much of a tyre wear track this is. And everyone's sitting pretty close to each other. Teammates are pretty much spread apart from each other as well, apart from Aiden, Darren and Tom that are sitting together from 6th to 8th position. But down the back there, the inside lane, teammates aren't together, same with a lot of the Sim boys. And even Dave Douglas is away from his teammates as well. So everyone's separated. We'll see if the teams can start to form with each other. But so far, I don't really see that kind of starting to happen. But maybe on towards the back end of the race. But Auto Club not being too much of a draft track does indicate to us that even if some teams go on alternate strategies to get some fresh air, maybe that can boost their positions towards the back end of the race.
Yeah, it looks like Jason's just starting to run away now from Daniel Stevens, so again maybe that tyre was just starting to come into play. Jason was just sitting back, letting Daniel use up a bit of that tyre in the early stint of this race, and now Jason's on the run.
Yeah, and you can see the gap form, and then you can see the gap from second to third. It's absolutely massive too, which is really indicating that he is pushing pretty hard too, seeing that we are in the early stages of the race. But if I have a quick look in my notes that I did take before this, they do run 75% fuel every single round of the truck series, and this round it gets them around 35 laps a tank, so we should see them around lap 35 to 40, and then they should come in around lap 80 to get to the end. So 2-stopper, but if there's a caution, then there's no doubt the drivers will come into the pit lane, just take the fuel, take the tyres, and try and get those little gains. But speaking about little gains, Darren McKenzie's now making a move on Andrew Dyson, heading onto the front stretch very shortly too. He's not gaining too much. Now he's gained a lot in the side draft. Now they're side by side down the quad oval. Remember, this is a D shape too, crossing the line side by side for lap number 20. We are 3 wide into turn number 1. Riley Curtis on the outside. Andrew Dyson, he's in the middle. He's switched back to the rear of Darren McKenzie. Darren McKenzie getting that job done, and we're now a fifth into this race. And Riley Curtis has something to say about Darren McKenzie's move now. They're side by side down into turn number 3. and Darren McKenzie sitting just behind him. The Skypoynt teammate, that looks like Andy Barber or Tom Pritchard, either one of those. They're still going to fight the same note. It's Colin, so a bit of a surprise there as well. He's going to try and work together with his sister team, Southern Star entry 0-2, Darren McKenzie. But in between those, we do have Andrew Dyson there. A little birdie also whispered in my ear and told me that Jai Schultz is in the pit lane too. So that's a bit of a strategy call, but a bit of an odd one to make. But nevertheless, Jason Holsworth still out in front. He's cutting away well, and he's doing a good job at leading the race. But my main question here at the moment is, why is Jai in the pit lane? Did he get damaged? Did he crash? Maybe he ran out of fuel. Maybe his tyres are off. Not too sure, but we should find out very shortly. If that's the start of the green flag pit stops, but then I'd say he's about 15 laps too early by my calculations. But Jason Holsworth still out in front at the moment. We can see Daniel Stevens behind him. Look at the gap. If we jump back to Daniel Stevens, you'll see the gap all the way back to Trent Gosley. The gaps are absolutely massive. And look at the back of Jason Holsworth. You can see riding right on the ground. You can see, oh no, we're now back at Daniel Stevens too. Looking forward to Jason Holsworth as Jason starts to push away, punching that hole in the air. And punching the hole in the air, both Jason and Daniel are doing. And what that does do is once the hole's been punched in the air, he is using a lot more fuel than other people. So people in the pack will save a lot more fuel also. So he's going to watch that around 10 laps to go before we start to see our first green flag pit stops, as we do go for those around the lap 35 mark. So keep an eye on that. Aiden Schultz is having a go at Trent Gosley for the back end of the podium. And Dave Douglas back in fifth has something to say about that. We'll see. Come into turn number one. Dyson's in the pit lane too. So is Tomlin. And it looks like the green flag pit stops are starting to form. So by the calculations I was given, it looks like the first stop is around lap 24.
Yeah, maybe some strategy here, just trying to get the undercut on a few drivers here, perhaps.
Yeah, most likely. And the undercut and overcut is both strategies here, but the tyre where the undercut is going to work really well, but towards the back end of the race, that's really going to come back to bite them. Riley Curtis, Kobe Jordan's in the pit lane too. Everyone's starting to come in, and this is a bit odd. One person comes in and everyone comes in, so that's just the way it's working at the moment. But Jason Holsworth out in front at the moment, Daniel Stevens behind him, Trent Gosley, Aiden Schultz, Dave Douglas, Tom Pritchard, Stephen Williams, Darren McKenzie, Colin Findlin, and Max Marshall. That's your top 10 so far. And it looks like everyone's starting to take the green flag pit stops. And now it looks like everyone's coming into the pit lane too. Very few people are staying out. Jason Holsworth, Trent Gosley, Aiden Schultz, Stephen Williams, Colin, Tony Maxfield, Eddie Barber, Shane Mello, Craig Roffey, Gary Wellman, Nigel Seidel are the only people that have stayed out so far. So we'll see them come in very shortly. But now we have Daniel Stevens, Dave Douglas, Darren McKenzie, Tom Pritchard, Glenn Klein, Henry Fenson, Kim Roffey, Tony Roffey, and Adam Malone, Christopher Finlay. They're all in the pit lane for the first stop of the night. And we'll see if they're going to take tyres. I assume they will. But now we're a quarter through. Now we are a quarter through a 100-lap race, and the leaders are now in, and everyone is into the pit lane, bar Craig Roffey, who will come in very shortly. Looks like he's gone one more lap, and one more lap he is going. Let's jump on board with Craig while he's jumping around, running around, and he's the only one that has not come into the pit lane. We'll watch out. We'll see if he's going to come in this time. But lap number 27 out of 100. He saved a couple more extra laps worth of fuel. So this is a pretty good strategy call from Craig, and pretty good fuel saving, I must add. And let's see if he comes into the pit. There we go, and he is in. 030 Craig Roffey, one of the many Roffies that we've had here with the Skypoynt Opal League. And this. Here comes Jai Schutz for the undercut, and that is our race leader of Jason Holsworth, and he gets past new race leader Jai from Platinum Racing Gold, and he's taking the lead of the motor race. So good job, Jai. And we'll stick with Jai at the moment. Caution number 1 of the night now flies. And I'm having a look at the live time, and it looks like a few cars have scattered. And I'm looking at Andrew Dyson, Steve Hoppett, Luke Kenny. They are all 1 lap down. Christopher Finlay has a fair gap to the rest of the field, but not too sure what happened there. But I think Andrew Dyson's involved in that because he is moving pretty slowly on the live timing. And no, that's incorrect. Everyone's just running slower because we're under caution. Bit of a scrape mark down his right-hand side, but not too sure what brought this out. But Steve Hoppett now in the pit lane could indicate that he is involved. We're looking here, Andrew Dyson coming. Oh! That's Steve Hoppett, and looks like he got loose out of turn number 1. And Andrew Dyson just got a door full, and that was a pretty big impact, I must say. And Steve Hoppett is out on track at the moment. Might talk to him very shortly, but not too sure if that's a good idea so far. But he's just got loose, and he's just hit Andrew Dyson. No doubt he'll be crabbing down the front, down the back straight. But you know what? I said that we're going to. Well, before the broadcast, I said that we will speak to Steve Hoppett at one point, and once we have a camera cam ready, we will drag him up in the broadcast booth and have a sneaky little chat with him. But that's definitely thrown a spatter in the works tonight. Mate, Steve Hoppett, we said that we'll speak to you at some point during tonight, not the way that we would want to speak to you, but it is Ryan and Paul in the broadcast booth. Mate, talk us through what happened just before. I can't hear you, mate. Doesn't seem like we can hear our It seems like we can't hear our Uncle Steve, or Santa, should I say? But we'll figure it out very shortly when we are able to get him back. But Steve, if we figure it out, just give us a yell, and we'll have a chat to you. But we are under caution for the first time tonight, and that's Jai Schultz. He's taking the lead with Jason Holsworth. That's in second. Not too sure if we got you yet, Steve, but just let us know once we get you, unless you want us to drag you back down. Just send me a message if you want me to take you back down into Mad Dog. But first caution of the night, Paul, and that's not the... I wasn't expecting a caution this early in the race, but eventually we were gonna get it.
Yeah, well... Yeah, like I said, the trucks were looking like they were getting a little bit loose in the rear, and I think that's just what happened to Steve. Just come off the corner, got a bit loose, and unfortunate for Daiso, wrong place, wrong time. And looks like they've just extended that caution, although Jai's getting a wave around apparently. So I'm not too sure what's happening here with this caution at the moment.
Yeah, a bit confusing, but
Hello.
there we go, Steve, mate. Now we can have a chat to you.
I actually, I've got to mute that. Sorry, guys. I actually had a message here that you had muted my cam mic, and I was expecting my mic to actually be working with that. So my apologies. Yeah, that is completely and utterly on me, that one. I just pitted and got out again, and I think it was coming through turn one. I pushed it really hard on fresh cold tyres, and unfortunately Daiso was there and I couldn't aim it behind him.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff is pretty easy to happen. So coming from your side, looks like from us you got loose there, and that does match up to what we say too. Just cold tyres, and that catches you out pretty easy. And unfortunately, Dyson was unlucky to get in that. But talk us through your race at the moment. Unfortunately, you did get involved, but how's your race been going apart from this?
My race at the moment, buddy, is not that great. I mean, even before that, open setups, and my setup obviously bites the big one. I didn't expect to be at the front, but I thought I'd be doing a whole lot better than I am at the moment, to be perfectly honest. But look, I think the setups has let me down, and it's just not as good as it needs to be compared to what everybody else is running, I guess. So I'm struggling a bit, but I'm going to push on and see how I go, and see what we can do with it.
Yeah, what we say is we'll truck along, but just before I drop you back down wherever you'd like to go, the damage, how's the car feeling after that one?
Yeah, sorry, mate, I can barely hear you above the sound of the engine.
I was just asking, how's the car feeling? Is it
car feels all right. I mean, it actually feels better. Well, not better, but feels pretty much the way it did before I came together with Daiso, making that mistake. And look, massive apologies to Daiso. I feel really bad about that. He just pitted and was trying to enter the track, and through no fault of his own, he got cleaned up by me just pushing too hard on fresh tyres. And but look, the car feels fine. I mean, the direct drive wheel. Oh, Daiso's just got a bit loose there in front of me. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, he's going fast from the reverse, and I'm going forward. Look, the man's just got talent. There's just no two ways about it.
Yeah,
but look, this is a rough. It's not a rough track, but it's got those four distinct lines or lanes in it, and with the direct drive, I could feel them. They're very, very obvious. But apart from that, the truck feels exactly the way it did before. I obviously didn't do a huge amount of mechanical damage to it, so we'll just have to push on and see how it goes.
Yeah, that's right, and we'll let you go now. Looks like we're going to go green flag just very shortly. Everyone's saying hi, letting some lap cars by. But 33 laps into this one, still a long way to go, but hopefully the car's not too damaged, and we can get you up, hopefully in the top 10 at the end.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it'll be all right. We'll just push on. We'll see how we go. Listen, could take 2 seconds. I say good day to my twin grandsons, Connor and Percival. Good day, Poppy loves you, and we'll see how we go.
And we'll truck along. Steve Hoppett, thanks for having a chat with us, and I'll throw you back down there. But we are green flag for the second time here tonight, lap 34 out of 100 laps here. We've just had a little bit of confusion there. It looks like we have a single file restart, which is a bit different from what we have had. No doubt that would have been changed in the server too, so the next caution we should see a double file restart. Jai Schultz is your race leader, and we're looking down further into the pack. The moves have been made. Darren McKenzie's down the back end now. He's back in 20th, and he's running around some of the Roffies. Tony Roffey is at Kim Roffey and whatnot. But they are 2 and 3 wide down the back of the field, and we'll see how they effectively sort their own stuff out. We have Gary Wellman there. He's a bit by himself, but Dan McKenzie has his hands full as that is one of the LCR drivers. That is, Chris Tomlin. He got pretty loose up the top there. You can see just a quick little save. And he did a good job with that. Also, I'm going to talk back to when we were talking to Steve Hoppett before and we had Andrew Dyson go backwards. I'm actually going to have a bit... I observed that flick spin. Yes, it was very beautiful, but I did kind of see when he came back to round to the track, he did go over that pit exit line. And not too sure if you got a dangerous pit exit penalty. Hopefully he didn't get one of those, but that's a very big chance there too. And that's a very sorry night for Andrew Dyson, who unfortunately looks like he has quite a lot of pace that isn't there because of the impact. However, he is still up down. He's a lap down, and so is Will Jesper, Craig Jordan. Luke Kenny's out of the pit lane as well, and Steve Hoppett, he's 4 laps down also. This car not feeling too bad apparently, but he definitely would have felt it once he went green flag. Down the back stretch, we have Tom Pritchard there from the Skypoynt entry. He has his teammates of Colin and Andy Barber pretty close proximity to him that will be working with him very shortly. However, he is making his move on Riley Curtis, and Stephen Williams is also there on the inside too to stop this from happening. Riley Curtis moves down. Tom cuts off Stephen Williams too to stop him from getting past. A little cheeky little move from one of our favourite drivers, Tom Pritchard, one of the league organisers. But we are lap 38 out of 100, and I reckon this is a pretty cool opportunity to jump onto Jai's car and jump onto his beautiful Mug 2 and check him out. And we're having a little look-see at Jai in just a second. A bit of birdie in my ear says that Jai loves to look across at the camera and sees when we sneak him across and looking at me, has his eyes focused, and he's running along behind Jason Holsworth. And that's Jai Schultz, number 27, will sit on this screen for a little bit. We would have a little chat to him now, but we don't want to distract him. He's already pretty excited about being on the cams. And let's have a look at him going around Auto Club. He's facing Jason Holsworth. You can see Jason just ahead of him in close proximity. And look at the running he's getting. And he might be having to go around the outside. I'll shut up for a sec and we'll let Jai's face and Jai's driving be the entertainment for 1 and 2 laps. Unless we have a caution, of course. There we have it, heading into turn number 3 and turn number 4 to head onto the front stretch. We are having a look at the roof of Jai Schultz. He's having a pretty good battle here with our race leader of Jason Holsworth. And they can see the gain that he's made. You can look at the focus that Jai has on his face too. And we might run through some of the other cams very shortly. And no doubt if we jump over the Jai, you'll watch Jai have a little sneaky little look-see across at the screen. And we can catch him... We can catch him, catch us, should I say. And you can see him right on the back of Jason Holsworth. He has Dave Douglas up behind him as well. And Trent Gosley is also there in 4th. Aiden Schultz, he's in 4th position. He's running a bit further back from them, but he's sitting there being nice and patient. And he's looking at making a move shortly. But remember, patience is key here for Skypoynt. And they've got to choose very carefully when they're going to bounce to make a move. And it looks like Dave Douglas is now bouncing to make his move. And he's moved into 2nd. He's just below Jai. Jai having a bit of a fight there. And we're going 3 abreast down into turn number 3. Trent Gosley down the bottom. Dave Douglas, he's in the middle. And Dave just moved behind Jai. So everyone's playing it nice and smart for round number 11 here at the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series.
And doesn't look like Jason's got away this time round, so there's an angry pack hot on his heels, and he hasn't managed to extend that gap like he did last time round on the start of the race.
Yeah, and race is forming pretty well also, considering Auto Club is a pretty good track. I've raced Auto Club before. I've actually won here with IndyCars before, so it's a track that I really like to enjoy, and it seems like Jai enjoys this track too, seeing that he is up 22 positions from where he started, and a little bit of a sneaky move from Trent Gosley down the bottom there. Gives him an awesome opportunity at having a go at Jai, and they're side by side. So Aiden and Dave Douglas, they're side by side as well. Both Schultz's double trouble heading down the back stretch. Look out for these two. These guys have had beef, have drama. They've had competition with each other, the better and the lesser Schultz. Who's going to be the better Schultz and the lesser Schultz this week? Let's continue this on, and next round we'll nickname one of them the better and the lesser Schultz for some good shits and giggles. But at the moment it is Jai who is the better Schultz, and Dave Douglas, he's sitting in 4th, just in front of Aiden. Aiden's trying to still make moves. However, Jason's still obtaining his number 1 position, and we are nearly heading into our halfway stage in the race. And Paul, been a pretty good race, 1 caution. Is there anything else that you've noticed kind of unfold here?
Well, I was just watching Daniel Stevenson in the background there, and he ran quite a high line around 1 and 2 there, and got a really nice run off of 2 down the back straight, which allowed him to really utilise that draft, get on the back of Aiden there, but couldn't quite get the moves done down the straight into 3 and 4 there. But notice how he's staying quite high compared to everyone else there. He's really using the track there to try and get the draft and get out there. Schultz just looking like he's getting a little bit loose there. He's got the job done on Jai there, and he's going for the move on Douglas as well. So he's cleared him, but yeah, Jai maybe just he's coming into pit lane now. So we're going to start seeing those pit stops once again, I think.
Yeah, and second green flag pit stops, it seems like we're about to see Jai heading into the pit lane as well. However, it's a pretty good race so far, 48 laps, and look who's made himself up into the podium position. That's Aiden Schultz, and Dave Douglas, he's in 4th position. Both Aiden and Dave is up 4th, and our race leader is he's not up anything. He's not down or anything. He's just where he started, and if he gained a position from this, I'd be a little bit scared, because you can't go any higher than 1. Well, any lower than 1.
He could be the pace car.
I mean,
but he's definitely setting the pace tonight, so he might be the pace car.
Well, usually when I call someone the pace car, I'm referring to that they are as slow as the pace car, and I usually throw that curveball to Aiden Schultz. But I won't be mean to him tonight. He's doing awesome. I won't really talk about him either, because you know what, commentators curse. It doesn't mix, but something worth having a quick little chat about while everything's quiet before we head into our green flag pit stops. just announced here for the Skypoynt Oval Leagues. NASCAR trucks. So we're in these cars. And the twist is we are heading over to Bathurst on the 20th of December. And that's at 7 o'clock. So a little bit of a fun race. But since when do you have NASCARs on Bathurst? And if you're going to have any car on Bathurst that's a NASCAR, wouldn't you think of Next Gen? Nope. We've thrown the trucks at it, and they're going to jump on Bathurst for 3 different races. 8 laps for race 1, 8 laps for race 2 with a reverse grid, 16 laps and a pit stop for race 3. Also, local yellows, 0 fast repairs as usual, double cash prizes for the race round. The winner can walk away with $60. Runner-up can walk away with $40. Lucky Dog can run away with $20. So definitely check it out. I'd love to have a 40-plus car field for that one. But Dave Douglas, it seems, has made his way into the pit lane. And we'll see the green flag pit stop start to happen again after a second caution. But we are seeing Colin Finland. He's having a little run with the middle split racing car of Craig Roffey. Adam Malone's there behind him. A little bit of a pack there. We also have Andy Barber in the mix there. But we also have other cars coming into pit lane now. Dennis Stevens, Luke Crum is too. And looks like Dave has made a mistake. No caution. Looped the car around. And that's definitely thrown something in. No damage on his number 1 pristine gold car. But we'll check out the replay and see what happened to good old Davo. He's at the moment he's thinking, let's go out the pit lane and get an undercut. And you know what his throttle said? Nah, and look at the car. He's facing around backwards. And mate, I'm sorry if I was in the crowd. You know what? I'll be yelling, you can't park there. I've done that plenty of times. And I'd do it again. I've done it when cars have crashed and flipped and rolled. And you know what, Dave, mate, you can't park there. But we're heading back over to the front of the field of Jason Holdsworth, Trent Gosley, Aiden Schultz, and guess who's back? Back again. Guy's back, and he's starting to unlap himself. He's in 22nd position after taking the green flag pit stop, and yet again taking the undercut. And Jai's doing a good job at that. We'll focus on Jai for a little bit too. Keep an eye out on him. The undercuts worked really well. He was up at the front before he came into the pit lane. And talk about coming to the pit lane. We have Adam Malone, Christopher Finlay. They are both in the pit lane too. So green flag pit stops are starting to happen now.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think this is going to hurt Jai a bit. As I said, you know, that the tyre wear is going to be a big issue, and Jai was really starting to drop off from the front pack there. And he was sort of falling back into the middle of the pack. So I reckon it's these undercuts, while they may work for a little bit in the long run, I feel like it's really going to hurt Jai.
Yeah, and you've got to be careful with these kind of strategies too. The undercut can fail also. We've seen Jai before in other series, in the Australian Supercar E-Series. Bit of a little free shout out to them. Jai has tried the undercut there before with them, but it hasn't happened. He ended up around 3 laps down because of that undercut attempt, and we'll see if that pays out now, as a lot of other cars are starting to come into the pit lane. Trent Gosley, Max Marshall, Tom Pritchard, Tony Roffey, Kim Roffey, they are in the pit lane, and Jason Holsworth is in the pit lane. Aiden Schultz is in the pit lane. Shane Mellow's now come out of the pit lane. And guess what? Caution. Yeah, not too sure what caused that caution. But, you know what, Darren McKenzie is now effectively our race leader. Colin Finland, Andy Barber, that's your top 3 at the moment. And a few of the cars are in the pit lane. This does give us opportunity to see what happened and then bring up a driver very shortly. There's Darren McKenzie, and we are looking at, it looks like it's Stephen Williams up the top there, not Darren McKenzie. And down the bottom, they're not too sure who that is. It's coming to the pit lane. Chase decided they wanted to not go into the pit.
Yeah, I think the caution come out just as he was coming in there, so I think he just saved that from entering a closed pit. So I don't think that's what brought the caution out there. So we'll have to see what else actually happened there.
Yeah, we'll have a little look, see what happened, and once we find it, I reckon it's going to be a good one. Yeah, well, we're trying to figure it out, and we'll see what happens from then. But we are caution number 2 of the night, so I'll shut up for a second. I'll have a little bit of a drink, and I'll have a look through and see who we can bring up and have a little chat to in about 2 seconds. There we go, you can see Riley Curtis there. And Christopher. Right. Looks like we're going to do some detective work and try and figure this one out, see what we can find out. And we'll have a little chat to someone. Why not bring up Jai? And I reckon we should switch to the cam and then choose him possibly and see if we can catch him having a little look-see across. But Jai, mate, it's Ryan and Paul from the broadcast booth, mate. How's the race going?
Yeah, not bad. I'm a bit off strategy than everyone else is, but yeah, doing all right.
Yeah, you found yourself back in the lead after being in the lead earlier on, coming into the pit lane a bit early. Undercut strategy seems to be the way that you're trying to go. But how do you feel that the strategy is going, considering that we have had 2 cautions?
Yeah, not too bad. Our racing's been a bit confusing at the moment, so I'm not sure what is happening here, but yeah, it seems like everything's going on a bit here.
Yeah, and I'll let you jump back to the other guys, because it looks like it's super confusing. But one question that we do have is, do you have any idea of what brought out that caution?
Not too sure about that last caution. I know Double E had a bit of a spin on the pit exit, but that was a bit earlier, so I'm not sure if someone's had a bit of a whoopsie coming out of pit lane, but it was right in the middle of the pit window, so interesting time.
That's right. We'll chuck you back and let you figure everything out, and no doubt we'll have a little chat to you and bring you back up later on once everything's not chaotic. There you go. We got Jai Schultz, and looks like we're starting to go double file for the restart too. So that's going to be something that we look out for. Jai wanted a little bit of a different strategy, and the pace car comes in. So it looks like they've actually brought the safety car window back wide enough to fixing some issues, and we are green. Once again, Jai was on the pole, but Jason Holsworth is now taking the lead. Darren McKenzie, it looks like, and then it's Jai Schultz, so moves are being made. And it still says that we're under caution here, so it doesn't really make sense. Now it switches lap 59 out of 100. 40 laps remain, about one pit stop remains, and we'll see if anything else happens from there. But Jason Holdsworth leads us down the back stretch. Darren McKenzie, Jai Schultz, Craig Roffey, Andy Barber. That's your top 5. Colin Finland, if you don't mind, from Skypoint. He's jumped in, the only American in the race, and he's doing really well. And
well, I spoke to Colin Finland earlier before the race when I noticed he was US driver, and I'm not sure if it's his first race for the season, but yeah, he said he was more of a road racer, so he's doing quite well there, sitting in 6th spot, up 13 positions from where he started.
Yeah, and I know for a fact he loves the iRacing kind of thing, and he loves jumping in with his team and having some fun. I will mention really quickly too, I did quickly just search time in USA, and it shows a time here for Washington DC, which is pretty close to where he is, because he is pretty inland, inland, should I say. It's 5:51 a.m. for him at the moment, so he is up bright and early, and I'm pretty sure same with Derek Jacobs from Southern Stars. The two American drivers that Southern Stars Skypoynt Racing have, they don't sleep. They don't get up early for races, so they usually pull an all-nighter. So he's doing a good job, and he's just racing along really well there in P6 car 66, and we're glad that we're not showing car 99 because it wouldn't be very nice to see him upside down. But he is running alongside with Andy Barber as well, so he does have familiar teammates up there at the front with him. Josh Schultz will be working with him. Same with Darren McKenzie, and down further in the field, P11, P12, and P13 with Aiden, Tom, and Adam. Well, I'll shut up a little bit about Colin because, you know, my commentator's curse loves to get thrown around. And speak about Southern Stars, Darren McKenzie from Southern Stars now takes the race lead from Jason Holsworth. Now the drag racing into turn number 1. Looks like Darren McKenzie's made this move stick as we head into lap number 63 out of 100. Darren McKenzie has the bottom line. Josh Schultz is trying to work with him too. He's stuck down the bottom. And Craig Ruffy is trying to have a little bit of a piece of the action too.
I do love watching these drag races down the back straight there, just to see who gets out on top and gets a good run, and watching these under and over cuts on everyone as well, trying to get that spot back.
Yeah, and definitely a couple of cars slapped down as well too, as we're watching the battle unfold. A few people getting caught out in that green flag pit stop. Well, the green flag pit stop that's very soon turned caution. Luke Crum, Riley Curtis, Christian Finlay, Chris Tomlin, Stephen Williams, they're all a lap down. Dave Douglas is 2 laps down, Tony Broffey 3, Luke Kenny 3. Not too sure. If I'm honest, getting a little bit tired, had a little bit of a big day, a little bit of surprising seeing that the action here is pretty action-packed. It's Bauer having a lead, a race for the lead. Darren McKenzie, and that's Jason Holsworth. They're side by side yet again, heading into turn number 1 for the 65th time. Jason Holsworth was at pole position, and it looks like he's done his practice, and he's having a lot of fun here racing Darren McKenzie. Darren McKenzie getting very close with Jason Holsworth there, but no caution so far. Not too sure when we're going to see the next one. It looks like it might go green to the end. There's a bit of a chance there, as we do have 45 laps remain. And we're seeing some cars in the background there starting to fight too. That's Colin, and that looks like it's Craig Roffey. I'll just double check with myself. That's Andy Barber actually. So Andy's having a little bit of a look-see with Craig. Two good drivers here in the league, should I say? And I won't blow smoke up. I won't talk too much about Dad. I don't want an angry father to run in my room. Okay, why did you give me the comment? And I might be a little bit scared if that does happen. But he's doing a good job there. He's having a little race, trying to race for the podium and get up to his teammate of Darren McKenzie. Jai's working together too. So if anything, Platinum's working with the Stars and Skypoynt drivers tonight to try and push their way to the front.
Looks like Mackenzie's finally got that move done on Holdsworth, so he's just starting to pull away now. He's got 0.3 of a second gap over Jason, but he's really had his hands full there with a back and forth battle with Jason for quite a few laps.
Yeah, and you've got to be careful because if you're having a battle like this, then you could probably wear your tyres up way too much. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to fight for it. They pay for the tyres, they might as well use them. So they're doing a good job. But now we're cautioned for the third time tonight, so that's thrown a curveball into this race yet again. Caution number 3, not too sure what's happened here, but once again we are behind the safety car, and once again we're going to get a restart very shortly. But let's have a little look-see at the Skypoynt replay and see if we can see what happened. That's Chris Tomlin there. That's Adam Malone. Adam gets caught up in that, gets hit pretty hard. Adam Malone gets sent over his teammate. And what number's on the stall? Oh, that's Tom Pritchard too. And Adam Malone. Stephen Williams. No, that's not Stephen Williams. That's Maxie Marshall. Dan Stevens, sorry. Getting involved in that. And that's a big impact. That's taken 2 of the Skypoynt Racing team and sister team out of the race. And that's pretty crazy. We'll jump over to another view and have a look at this one as well. And then we'll find someone to have a little chat to. For a second, I thought Max Marshall might be able to escape that one, but unfortunately was not able to do so, having a couple of contacts with Adam Malone, and that's going to throw something into this race, and that's going to change a lot of the strategies up. But unfortunately, that brings out our third caution, and everyone's coming in for fuel and probably tyres to try and get to the end, but it seems like they just don't have enough laps to do so.
Well, Ryan, I know you said you had a long day, so we're into the final stage of this race, and don't you go falling asleep on me again. I know you fell asleep one night, but we'll bring someone up for a chat so we can pass the convo off to them for a little bit, I think.
And you know what? I'll let you choose this one, and we'll bring one of the random drivers up for a little chit-chat.
Mr. Riley Curtis, do you have a copy?
Yeah, gotcha, boys.
How are you going tonight?
I don't want to say anything to get me in trouble. Let's just say this server, whatever the settings are, it has been a lottery. It's, yeah,
I know.
very interesting.
I know we had a bit of a server issue and we changed to a second server when we went live. So, do you think something was wrong maybe with this server as well? Or?
Oh, definitely. It has messed a lot of us around.
So, what do you think's wrong? Like, is it just really loose, or what's happening tonight? We've noticed. Daiso and Douglas got loose coming out of pit lane and spinning out as well. So
the track itself isn't too bad. I think a lot of us are overdriving as a result of other things that have happened. Like, yeah, personally, if it's marked as a result in the championship, it shouldn't be.
Fair enough. We'll catch up with you later, but pace car lights off, so I'll drop you back down anyway.
All right.
So we had Riley Curtis up here. I just let our good old mate PJ. He's had a little chat with Riley, and looks like he's running pretty well there, having a pretty solid race. He is sitting in 16th. He's a lap down, however, but he is in the lucky dog position. Yeah, getting caught up earlier in the race. However, that doesn't mean that we won't have an awesome finish here. A couple of cautions will just bring those lap car drivers closer, but we are green once again for the third time tonight. Lap 72 out of 100. Darren McKenzie, Josh Schultz, and Andy Barber. That's your top three. Now Craig Roffey moved to third position. Craig Roffey having a little bit of a move on the bottom of Andy Barber, who unfortunately loses that position. Now we've got a caution for the fourth time tonight. So that's thrown yet another thing, yet another incident into this, and now we see one of the DPR Briggs cars. So that looks like Kendrick Dyson. He's in the barrier, unfortunately. Dave Douglas getting caught up in an incident too. That looks like, unfortunately, Andrew Dyson once again an innocent bystander in that one. And that's not over for Andrew, and unfortunately, Andrew Dyson not having too good of a night.
Big snap on the wheel there from Davo, so not too sure there. If thought he might be getting a little bit loose and tried to grab it and just got a bit of a snap on the wheel there, and that's what caused him to lose it, maybe.
Yeah, and so we have been told previously that these kind of snaps of cold tyres tend to happen here if you're not too careful in those cold tyres, and you can very easily end up in the barriers.
Well, as we all know, cautions do breed cautions, but fresh tyres we've seen tonight. It's happened a few times that the rear of the truck just getting loose, and I did mention that earlier that it was quite loose in the rear when I was watching the practice, and maybe just those fresh tyres. Drivers just struggling to get those tyres up to temperature and get the grip levels up when they first come out.
Yeah, and it does take a bit of time to get the temperature in the tyre to be able to, properly get the grip. But the drivers know very well how to control that, and sometimes it does step them out. The drivers aren't perfect. Mistakes happen. I've been caught out there by cold tyres so many times, and no doubt these drivers have had their experience with cold tyres before, but we are cautioned for the fourth time, third or fourth. It's a bit hard to lose track, but we do have Tom Pritchard here, so we will drag in Thomas, mate. Just noticed in the podium room, just figured you would come and have a chat, mate. Not the race you've wanted. You are 5 laps down, but looks like you're going back out on track just to try and recover some points.
The engine in my thing is kaput, so I'm not going nowhere in a hurry. So, I'm just sitting pretty and thought I'd come up and, say hello and see how you guys are going.
Yeah, and the race is going pretty well too. We can see your teammates up at the front there. Darren and Andy are together up the front there. Jai is sitting in with you guys, having a chat with you as well, so he's leading the race. But leading up into that point where you did unfortunately get a bit caught up in an incident, how did you think that your race was going along?
Yeah, race was going really well. I had plenty of pace in the car. I was feeling pretty good. Unfortunately, just got caught up in an incident there. Not too sure. Yeah, it seemed we ended up 4 or 5 wide or something, which is a bit crazy. Not sure why. all of a sudden all these cars were diving down the inside. But that's racing. It's the way it goes. And I'll live to fight another day. So so there will be, I'm sure, a few people asking a few questions because this server's had a few interesting bugs by the looks of things. But yeah, hopefully the rest of the race can pan out and we can have we can get a good finish.
We heard from Riley Curtis just before, and he did mention that he wasn't really happy with the server either, and we did go to a second server earlier when we were getting into the race. So what have you found with the server tonight? What sort of bugs have you been finding?
Yeah, it's a weird one. I've noticed bugs going all through it. So there's been restarts that have happened in odd places. I got a green flag when we were halfway around turn 1, and which was very odd. So I'm not really sure why or what the actual bugs are or what the issues are, but there's certainly some pretty significant ones. But I can assure everyone that's watching, everyone loves to be the expert when things are going all wrong. But what I can say is that we've got the server settings identical to as they always are. We have them preset before we go into the race. So, there's not really a lot that we could have done that could have changed the actual settings of the server. Anyone can go in and have a look at what those settings are. And I can assure you that it must be an issue or some kind of bug happening with iRacing. But look, it is what it is. We're just dealing with it as best we can.
I did notice one of those restarts was a single file restart as well, so I wasn't too sure what was happening there.
Yeah, well, it's set up to be double file, and now all the restarts have been double file. So, tell me how to set that up in iRacing, and I'll never know. So, it's not a setting you can actually implement. So, it's a very odd set of circumstances. Look, there's a lot of people complaining. But as I said, look, we just got to deal with what we got to deal with and do the best we can and move on. And hopefully we have a good finish to the race and everyone can wake up on the right side of the bed tomorrow and we move on.
Well, speaking of a good race, Craig Roffey's just taken the lead away from Josh Schultz. Craig Roffey's having a really good run tonight. He's been sitting up there in the top spots for a while and he's finally made his way to the front.
Yeah, mate, Craig Roffey's been one of those guys all season, a bit of a quiet achiever, really. So that's great to see him. I'm glad he's having a good run.
Yeah, and a few people are also having a good run here tonight. I'm just having a look through the live timing. Craig Roffey up 16 positions. Jai, our effective race leader, he is obviously in first. He's 23 from where he started. And Henry Fenton, he's up 21. Lick Crumb's up 25. Kim Roffey is up 13. Roger Seidel up 12. So a lot of fast movers here tonight. How did you feel like the track was going? Was it more slippery? Obviously, the glitches make it a bit difficult to get a read sometimes. But how do you think the track was forming with your cars?
Well, I was pretty happy with the way our cars were going on longer runs, especially. I was finding as the run went on and it got later and later into the run, it was we were getting better and better in terms of our speed compared to others. So, by the looks of things now, Craig's just been taken over again. We've got Jai leading and Darren in second. But this is looking like a really good finish of this race. It might pan out here, so this will be interesting. Darren on the inside here.
And it looks like you're jumped in Discord with us. So I don't think that you're racing at the moment. But mate, feel free to jump in, stay in here, and have a chat with us, eh?
I certainly am not racing. As I said, my engine is absolutely just I think it's currently sitting across turn 4. I think so. But this is going to be a good race. I'll tell you what, Craig's really pushing it to try and keep that car in front of Darren's.
Yeah, and up the front there, as we're looking up the front, should I say, Jai still in the lead. He's holding off Craig Roffey really well. Darren McKenzie in third. He has his teammate Aiden Schultz behind him too in fourth. He's getting overtaken by Henry Fenton. Henry Fenton looks like he's getting the run and looks like he might have quite fresh tyres. He's able to push up to the front there, getting past Aiden. Like I said just before, Darren McKenzie still in third. He's having a look at Craig Roffey. a pole position getter, Jason Holsworth. He's in 9th also, so he's going to be trying to push his way up to the front from starting pole. He's moved back to the middle of the pack. Not too sure what happened. They might have been caught up in the caution. But we have a couple of cars that we don't really see up the front. Jai, he's usually in the mid-pack. He's up near the front a lot of the time, but we seem to see a lot of the time that some drivers don't have quite the best of luck, but Jai's doing an awesome job out the front there. Darren McKenzie will be there to support him. Craig Roffey's on the inside of Darren McKenzie as we head into turn number 3 and number 4. Andy Barber's there with Henry Fenson too, and they're going to be trying to catch up to Aiden Schultz, and Aiden Schultz is trying to catch up to Darren McKenzie. So it looks like a pack is starting to form, and the pack is starting to race each other. 18 laps remaining in the race, so we still have quite a big strategy call to make. 25 laps, I've noticed, Tom, that cars have been coming into the pit lane. So how tight do you think this end of the race is going to be for fuel?
Well, I don't know. When did they last pit?
They've been doing around 25 laps per tank.
Yeah, when did they last come in? How long ago? So, yeah, they're going to need to pit again, I think. So I think they're going to, they're not going to get all the way to the finish. There's going to need to be one more stop, I think.
Just for the viewers at home, Jai Schultz there on last pit lane, 69, along with Craig Roffey and Henry Fenson. So those guys are going to struggle there. Aiden Schultz and Darren McKenzie, Andy Barber, Jason Holdsworth, all on lap 73. So they're going to be squeezing those cars to make it to the finish, but I think that'll be doable.
They were fuel saving when I left the that server. They were in fuel save mode on that last pit, on that last safety car. So I think you'll find that they're going to try and stretch it to the finish here.
Yeah, stretch it to the finish. They will try. 17 laps remain. Their last pit stop was on lap 69, so that's going to be pretty tight to the end if they do complete around 25 laps per tank. That gets them to lap 94, so they need to save 7 laps of fuel to get across the checkered flag. So I just don't think it's possible. And other cars such as Aiden and Darren, and same with Andy Barber, and quite a lot of other cars, they last pitted on lap 73. So that's only going to get them to lap 9. No.
What this is
98. As it's getting pretty close there. That's Jason Holsworth skipping across the infield grass, and
that's big news. Holsworth was definitely one of the stronger cars in the field this tonight. So that's a bit of a shame that he's been dropped out there.
Yeah, he's come to a stop on the front stretch, and now he's into the pit lane, so he's towed. No caution, surprisingly. I'm surprised the caution didn't come out, but it looks like Jai, Craig, and Henry, same with Kim Roffey and Riley Curtis, they've only pitted lap 68, 69, and other cars such as Aiden, Darren, Andy, they've pitted lap 73. They only need to save 3 laps of fuel, so those drivers will be in mega fuel saving mode. Tom, do you reckon they might make it to the end if they save fuel?
Oh, I don't know, guys. It's pretty big call. If it stays green, they're going to be really on the edge. But maybe. I hate to fence it, so I'm going to say yes, they're going to make it. But it's a pretty big call to make that far.
Yeah, definitely. And seeing that they need to save 3 laps of fuel, it is quite a lot when Auto Club is quite a high-speed track where you do have to save that fuel. But 14 laps remain. We're ticking down the laps pretty quickly. Very soon we'll be in the single digits. And up the front, we have Aiden, who's now got him past his teammate of Darren McKenzie. Jai Schultz is still in the lead with Aiden Schultz second, Darren McKenzie third, Craig Roffey fourth, Trent Gosley fifth, Andy Barber and Colin Finland.
I reckon, guys, the races might actually be with the guys like Andy Barber here. They might be the guys who are actually saving enough fuel, going a bit slower, taking their time and actually saving enough fuel to get to the end of the race on this fuel load. I think that you'll find the guys at the front here, Jai's just going to go for broke. He's got a pit, so he's just going to pump it as hard as he can. Aiden, I'm not sure about, but he looks like he's going just as hard, and Darren doesn't look like he's relinquishing any time either. So Yeah, my take is that I'd be looking at guys like Andy Barber for guys that are probably going to be trying to make the end of this race without another stop.
Yeah, and it's going to be definitely close with the fuel, especially with the guys that pitted on lap 69. They're definitely going to need to pit, and I don't think they'll make it to the end. But Jai's doing a very good job at the front there. Of course, he's burning I would say the most fuel out of the field, being out the front, but looks like Darren McKenzie's going to try and make a move on the inside of Jai here to take the race lead, and hopefully Jai can sit behind and try and save some of that fuel.
Yeah, I'd say these boys here are just going for broke. They know they're not going to make it on fuel, so they're just going to go hard now. That's what I reckon they're doing.
Yeah, and look at them side by side through turn number 1. But Tom, what's Auto Club like? Because I haven't driven this in a NASCAR truck before. How does the truck handle compared to cars such as the IndyCar where me and you have ran with?
Yeah, I mean, the Auto Club is a great track. It's quite different. It's nearly like it's very fast, but it's not a super speedway. You definitely need to you're right on the edge getting around these corners. So you can get around here flat when you got fresh tyres, but at this point in time of the stint, you got to kind of lift off, and it's a really enjoyable track to run around the top there. You can really kind of let the car hang up near the fence there, and it really does give a real positive feel in the steering when you've got a good setup and the car's kind of going around nice and quick. So you can see there, Aiden kind of hanging up near the top there. Same with, by the looks of things, Steve Williams just hanging up run near the top. That's a really good line, and it keeps the actual tyres in good condition for a lot longer than if you're running on the bottom.
Yeah, and we can see different cars running different lines. A lot of cars deciding to run the high and run the low. So that does differ with the tyre where 10 laps remaining now, 9 laps. Darren McKenzie now has the lead. So it's going to be a close one, and it's going to be hard to really figure out who's going to get to the end. But why don't we throw some predictions your way, and who do you think is going to win this one?
Yeah, I don't know. These boys are going to have to... I think that they're definitely going to need to pit still, so I think you're going to see them come in the last 5 laps. It's going to be interesting to see whether guys like Andy Barber have got enough fuel on board to get them to the finish. They seem to now be catching up to the guys in front, so I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't know how much they got in their bank, but I'd say they're going to be all borderline.
Yeah, definitely, and everyone's pretty much on the edge, especially those cars that have even more fuel to save. Steve Hoppett's getting out of the way there down the bottom.
Yeah, this could be anyone's race. It could actually go to someone that we don't even expect. We could see everyone at the front pull up, and then all of a sudden someone that we haven't even been watching all of a sudden come through and do a bit of a Bradbury and get in front of everyone because they've managed to save enough fuel. So maybe who's on the lead lap? Anyone on the lead lap that's got a little bit of extra fuel could be a dark horse right now.
Definitely, and a lot of, if I have a look at the live time, and we can usually see a couple of sneaky people down the back end that's trying to save fuel, but really most of the field has dropped above 73.
Who's that? Someone in the fence at the top there.
Trent Gosley just made contact with that outside barrier. You can see a big scrape mark.
Great job. He got off the track there without causing a yellow. Great job from Trent there.
Yeah, and like you said before, good job just getting off the track there. Looks like he got up into that outside wall, hit that, and then has just driven down to the bottom of the track, parked up. However, 7 laps remain. Our race leader now is Darren McKenzie. And it's just Andy Barber's has snuck his way up into the top 3 too. All of those 3 cars had pitted on lap 73. Let's see if they can make it to the end. Jai Schultz, he's in 4th. Colin Finland, he's in 5th. Your American mate, Tom. And think about him. Why don't we have a little chat about him? Colin, haven't really seen him much, but he's the only American in the race over.
He certainly is. He's a very, very good driver. Very good on road, and but yeah, he's certainly taken to some of these ovals like a bit of a duck to water. So he's doing really well, and it's good to see him out there. It's very late where he is from, so I think it's in the wee hours of the morning, if not the sun's about to come up. So good on him for joining in and getting involved. This race at the front is really starting to heat up. We've got under 5 laps to go now. So Darren's still leading. I don't know. I just can't see them getting... How many laps is that? 33 or 36 laps they need to get on this tank. I just don't see that as being possible.
Well, what is pretty possible, in my opinion... Oh, Kenzie just giving the wall a bit of a tap, and your teammate, he hasn't had that much good luck in the last 2 rounds. Aiden Schultz, he has got him past Darren McKenzie. Darren McKenzie's now having another look at him, starting to push him. So the teammates are working together to push their way up, hopefully to a win. And they got to save 3 laps of fuel. So let's see if they've saved those 3 laps of fuel. But so far, your team is the top 3. Tom, Aiden Schultz, Darren McKenzie, Andy Barber. No, top 4. Colin Finland, Josh Schultz has started to pull back as well. And a lot of the cars that pitted on lap 69 are starting to fall back into the pack 2. 4 laps remain in the motor race as we head through turn number 4. Aiden Schultz is your leader, and Darren McKenzie sitting just behind him. The fuel strategy is going to be so tight. Theoretically, they should be running out of fuel about now by my 25 lap stint calculations, and they're still going. So we might have some good luck here. Hopefully good luck it is on their side, as Aiden is still pushing out in front. A bit of a gap, falling back to his teammate Darren McKenzie, and a bit of a gap behind Andy Barber, as they are most likely going to try and back off to save the fuel. But we are getting into our 2 lap to go as they head through turn number 4 for the 98th time.
Yeah, I think now they're about to come onto the front straight to start their second last lap, is it? Yeah, 99 about to start now. So, yeah, it's going to be touch and go still. Where are we at? I mean, I'm looking at the speed of Aiden at the moment. It looks like he's still trucking along all right. So, will they make it to the finish?
And that is the question that's lingering. Jai Schultz and Kim Roffey, they both pitted on lap 69. They're in the pit lane. Henry Fenton and Craig Roffey is still yet to come into the pit lane if they are not going to make it. But it looks like Aiden Schultz and Darren McKenzie may make it. It's going to be very close. We can see in the background we have who's that? That's Chris Finlay, Toddy Maxfield, a couple of cars, a couple of Simboy entries running together. But we are in the final lap. Let's see if they're going to make it. Darren McKenzie in second place. Andy Barber's just directly behind him, going to try and push him. As we have Aiden Schultz. He's had a couple unlucky rounds. Last round, the round before, got involved in some incidents with other drivers and his teammates. And he's had a bit of a rough one. This one's going to boost his confidence as we head into next round very shortly, next Tuesday night. And he's going to join next Tuesday night as a race winner here for the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series. Aiden Schultz, he takes out round 11 here at Auto Club for the race when his team is now 1, 2, and 3 at Auto Club, as Darren McKenzie, Andy Barber. They finished the race too in second and third. And that's a good win for good old Aiden.
Yeah, great win from Aiden, and good result as well for Darren and Andy as well. And I will shout out, where did Colin end up there? Did he end up 4th?
Yes.
Wow, that's a great result from them, and really solid job by the whole top 5 there. Great job, and I'm sure Aiden will be very pleased to have gotten kind of the monkey off his back and get a win in this series this season. I'm sure he's going to be celebrating pretty wildly right now with some big burnouts on the front straight, if he's got enough fuel, that is.
Well, I reckon he has enough fuel for a little bit of wheel spin, and that's it. Seeing that the strategy here that he just had the pull. But look, let's sit quiet and watch him do some victory burnouts here at Auto Club. And there goes his fuel. But, Tom, it was a pretty good race. Unfortunately, you were out earlier on, and then you got to see the later stages of that race as we ticked down the laps. But it was a pretty good race. How do you think both your race and the race as a whole went?
Yeah, my race went pretty terribly, but that's the way it goes. We'll live to fight another day, and yeah, great call, guys. And I'll let you guys go and enjoy these interviews you're going to have with the boys on the podium. It's going to be an all Southern Stars, all Skypoynt podium room by the looks of things. So I'm going to be sitting in the server by myself for a while, I think. So,
Well, before you run off, mate, we have the race results up there. Why don't you talk us through it, seeing that you enjoyed sitting back with us at the end of the race?
Sure thing. So we had Aidan Schultz taking out the win for Southern Stars Esports, followed by Darren McKenzie and Andy Barber. Che Mello managed to get on to fourth position, breaking up the lockout that was the Southern Stars and Skypoynt racing team. Colin Finland did a really great job, the only US driver in the series. He came in fifth. Then we had Nigel Seidel, Christopher Finlay, Luke Crum, Craig Roffey, Henry Fenson rounding up the top 10, and then Riley Curtis, Kim Roffey, Jai Schultz, Stephen Williams, and Glenn Klein rounding up the 15. So pretty good race all in all, guys, and definitely one that will be certainly talked about, I think, in this review. I think I'm up for a bit of I'm going to have to put the shield up, I think, for a bit here. There's going to be a few people having a bit of a crack at what's going on with the server tonight, but unfortunately a bit of an out of our hands situation here. So we just got to do our best and move on to the next one. So thanks, guys, and yeah, I'll leave you guys to do these interviews.
Thanks, mate. Good job tonight for you and your team. Unfortunately, you got out earlier on, but thanks for jumping in the broadcast with us, and hopefully we have you back in next week, and hopefully it's in the podium. All right, we're going to start to have a chat with some of the drivers. We have our 3 Southern Star entries in here. Andy Barber, let's start with you first. You came third here tonight. How did your race go?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty happy with 0X with that one, but yeah, pretty tough and competitive up the front there. But yeah, certainly got lucky towards the end, just looking after the tyres and trying to stay up high and get that run down the straight. So pretty happy about that. Unfortunate for the server though. We had a few issues tonight, which we'll sort out post-race, but yeah, just try to sort those things on the fly, do the best we can, but overall pretty happy with my result.
Yeah, and you definitely can't be disappointed with the results, saying that you guys came 1, 2, and 3. What do you think worked best for you tonight? Because you were starting towards the middle of the pack, and we did have a couple of cautions, but what did you think worked best for you?
Probably the practice earlier with Tom doing some running around. I basically learned how to do the high line over the last couple of days, and I did a few officials during the week as well, and kept an eye on like Jason and Jai and those guys and how they run, and try to take a leaf out of that book. But yeah, just went in tonight with no real plan, just looking after the car and trying to run up high, and then if I was in with a shot at the end, then I'd certainly be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the only Auto Club round of the season. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Yeah, we only have the double ups on the super speedways there, so good to get this one done. Darlington next week's certainly going to be a challenge. Again, for me, another track I've got to learn with diamonding corners and that kind of thing. And I hear the wall out of the exit of turn 2 likes to eat trucks, so definitely be trying to avoid that one.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, Darlington next round, and Auto Club only has the one round of the season. Hopefully next season we have it, but if we do have Auto Club next season, is there anything that you'll do differently?
No, not really. We're still playing with a couple of ideas for season 4 in the pipeline and making it exciting and doing fresh things and trying to keep it exciting and entertaining. So, yeah, certainly working on that, but we'll get this season out of the way. We've got 3 coming up after Christmas to bring us into the new year to round off the Skypoynt crown and that kind of thing. So certainly be keeping an eye on them and focusing on them towards the back end of the season.
Yeah, and we do head to Darlington too. You said that it's a bit of a different track. The 2 corners are different radiuses, and definitely will catch out a couple of trucks. But I'll throw you over to Paul. I'm pretty sure he's eager to say something.
Hi, Andy. How you going?
Hey, Blocker. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good race tonight. Trucks look good with the new paints on there, as I said earlier tonight. Did you find you was doing a bit of fuel saving at some point in that race?
I think I was pretty good because I think we kind of came in and double dipped. I think there was around about 35 laps to go or something, and we made sure that we topped off. I know D-Mac was fairly close, but I was kind of sitting in the pack a little bit more, so I could spare. I think I saved around about 1.5 laps of fuel in that last run. So just sitting there and trying to run in their draft and their air and be quick and save fuel. But I know Aiden didn't have enough to do a burnout at the end. D-Mac was sure and close to running out, and I had probably about a lap. So I guess sitting in that draft and letting those guys battle it out at the front really made the difference in the end in terms of my fuel.
Yeah, I noticed you're having a pretty good battle there with Trent Gossley as well towards the end of that race. You two were quite close to each other there, and then unfortunate for Trent, I think he just ran around the wall there, so that dropped him back. But did you find, I noticed you again towards the end of the last couple of laps, you were making quite a bit of ground on Darren, and noticed you got right up in behind him. Were you just sort of happy to sit there behind him? You weren't going to make a move for that second spot in the final lap?
Oh, absolutely. I thought about it up the back straight, but no, he owes me $20 now. But but no, basically I got to the back of him, and he's in the title hunt, as is Tom and a few of the other guys, Dave Douglas and Jason Holdsworth and a few of the other guys as well. So I certainly wanted to maximise his potential to make it tight at the top for the series. So I was more than happy to sit there in that third and try and maximise his points for his championship attack.
Nice, and team player, and you heard it here first, so it's Darren's shout.
It is, mate. He's got the beers next week. So cheers, Darren. Appreciate it.
And just before we let go, just shout out all the sponsors, the people that got you here, and then we'll pass you over to your best mate, Darren McKenzie, for his chat.
Good luck with D-Mac. But no worries. Thanks to the Skypoynt Racing team, of course, Southern Stars at Esports, all of the team and all the crew at Get Together. We're quite a close-knit group and going from strength to strength. And I think these results are starting to show as well, so it's great to see. But congratulations to both Darren and Aiden tonight. And certainly with Tom, with a bit of misfortune tonight, certainly going to blow it open for the series at the top. So certainly stay tuned, because I'm certain that next week at Darlington, it'll be on like Donkey Kong yet again.
Yeah, that's right. And Darlington should bring some interesting kind of racing too, especially if there's an incident. I reckon a lot of people might get caught up. But that brings us across to Darren McKenzie, mate. Second position here for the number 2 truck. And how did the car feel for you tonight?
It felt great. It was a rocket. I got into a little bit of trouble early. I think me and another car, I don't know who it was, we touched doors, and I got a bit of front end damage from that. So I pitted and took I think it was about 20-something seconds worth of repairs, dropped me to the back, and had to work my way back from there. But that caution, everyone was pitting early and I stayed out. It was sort of opposite to what I normally do, but it worked out brilliantly and put me in second for the restart there.
Yeah, and gave you second for the restart, and that eventually gave you second for the race. What I asked Andy this just before. What worked best for you?
I could basically run the car anywhere, but running it low, it felt like about a 5 or 6 lap window. You could run it really hard, make your spots up, but then you're going to burn your tyres out. So you really had to just sort of time when you were going to push and when you weren't. It was very easy to wear those right sides out.
Yeah, that's right. And coming into this one, everyone is pretty tight for that championship. Who do you think your biggest rival is?
Where do I start? There's myself, Tom, and the current and reigning champion, Mr. Dave Douglas. We're going to be all over each other for the run to the end of the season here. I think both of them finished Douglas was 24th, and Tom finished even lower than that. So I'm going to get a big points catch up on both of them. And yeah, it's stay tuned. It's going to be an interesting finish to the season.
Yeah, Southern Stars had a bit of Skypoynt had a bit of a misfortune, and that allows you to capitalise on it with your second place. But I'll throw you back over to good old Paul, and I'm sure that he's holding back from saying some pretty funny stuff.
So, what's the first round going to be, Darren?
First round of...
Yeah, well, you're shouting Andy Barber, apparently. So what's the first round going to be?
I think I'll just cover his admission into next season. He'll be right.
Oh, I'd much rather have a drink, but yeah, no, good race tonight. Had as you said, the truck was a rocket, and you had a pretty good run there with Jason Holdsworth. You're having some good back and forth battles with Jason. Looked like neither one of you could get that move done for a few laps there.
Yeah, that was just having a bit of fun. I was sort of helping the boys out wearing his tyres. I knew he was quick, so I figured if I hassled him for a while, it would slow him down a bit.
Yeah, we did see him get a bit of a breakaway in the early stages of the race with, I think, Daniel Stevens. I think both of them run off from the rest of the pack at the start of the race, and then Daniel just started to drop back a little bit, and Jason kept going, but that caution brought everyone back in line, and we saw some good battles tonight.
Yeah, that caution midway through brought me right back in behind him, so that was it was race on from there, because I was up the front at the start there, but like I said, I got that bit of damage, and I sort of fell back through the field and had to work my way back through, but I definitely felt I threw the win away with hitting the wall towards the end there. That was a big shame, but kudos to Aiden. He had a brilliant race as well, so he fully deserves the win.
Yeah, I did see that. I wonder if I was thinking maybe Meatball was just driving through his team again, but no.
No, that was me with eyes not forward. I was checking the mirror and relative and stuff, and distraction, and I forgot the safer barrier cuts in at turn 3 there.
And just before we let you go, Paul's had his turn, but just thank any of the sponsors before we head over to talk to our good old Meatball.
We've got Tiona Holiday Parks, Skypoynt, Mish's XL Garage, definitely all the guys in the team. Well done, another 1, 2, 3 for the team, so it's really coming together. And you guys for putting on the broadcast each week, thanks.
Thanks, Darren. Really appreciate it. But now we'll head across to our round 11 winner, mate. Aiden taking out the win. Just a bit of a silly question for the first one, mate. If we opened up the bonnet, do you reckon we'd find anything bit illegal, seeing that you were running quite a lot of pace at the dying stages of the race?
No comment.
But mate, you were driving like a rocket at the end there, and definitely deserved to get into the lead. But how do you think your race progressed through? Like, you did gain 6 from where you started, so you started from P7, and obviously the race was a bit of an odd one with the server issues and whatnot. But what were you able to capitalise on most?
Yeah, the race was good, mate. It was probably similar to what the other two guys have said before me. Truck was good. How the race went and what I used to capitalise, it was really hard because the way the cautions went and extended cautions, trying to allow people to obviously catch up with some of the server issues. It was really trying to manage it on the fly. But once we got going, it was really good. So I don't know. I think it was just managing the race and knowing that I had the pace, I think.
Yeah, and 100 laps isn't a short distance, still 200 miles, which we are used to running. But the cautions, did they come out at the right time for you, or do you think that the cautions played a part in your strategy to be able to, did it play your way, or do you think it made it a little bit difficult to capitalise on everything else.
No, 100% my way, just like Andy said and Darren said. We were good to go to the end there, but it was touch and go depending on where you were. Obviously, Andy, coming from a little bit deeper back, he was able to save fuel, so it was a blessing in disguise there. But at some point, you had to sort of look and go, righto, we've got to pull the trigger, because if you lose too much, then obviously you're going to be gone. So luckily, I found the happy medium, and it sucked for Darren, though, because I was talking to Darren and I said, man, you won last week, you're up there in the championship, I've wrecked everyone in the last 2 weeks, I'll just push you to the win here, man, you're good to go. And then he looked in the mirror and got in the wall. I'm like, no, I got the win, but that should have been Darren's 100%.
Yeah, and you definitely deserve it. You've had a bit of difficult 2 races, and you definitely deserve to get the win here. But
does that mean I get bonus points? Can we talk to the admin that I got bonus points this week because I didn't take out my teammates, let alone anyone else that gets caught up with it?
I mean, possibly, but I'll throw you over to your best mate, Paul. I know that Paul's eager to say something to his good old buddy pal, Aiden, mate. But good job for your win, and you did an awesome job. Deserve it. You definitely deserve it.
Thank you, mate.
Meatball. Where do I
Blockhead
begin with
Jackson.
you?
At the end, and maybe then we'll get to the start by the time we finish.
Well, firstly, minus 100 points for wrecking all your team the last couple of weeks, so no bonus points.
That's valid. I'll take that one.
Plus, we haven't had any Intersim trivia, so that's another minus 500 for you.
Oh, well, I think that's the broadcast crew that need to do that, so I'll go halfway with you on that one.
Alrighty. Good race. 100 laps, 200 miles, as Ryan Barber mentioned. That doesn't count as day 2 of your running either, so you're going to have to go twice as hard for day 3.
I got no comment. No comment. Only because I can't stand up. My legs hurt too much.
Slacking off. You ran too hard, and you managed to.
It was like Santa trying to run down the local mall elevator, mate, and falling over. It was terrible. You've just seen it.
That's why you don't skip leg day. See?
Leg day number 1 day is the day you're meant to skip. Apparently, Jesus. Anyway, back to the point.
Good race tonight. You showed a fair bit of pace right from the start as well. You were sort of sitting up in that top 5 to 10 sort of spot area, and I think more so the top 5 spot. But you had a good run tonight, nice clean, stayed out of trouble, didn't take out your teammates till the end there with Darren, and I'm gonna say that. But how'd you go? I noticed we're going to have to say he's the lesser Schultz now. He opted for a few undercuts tonight, and what did you think of that strategy? Do you think your lesser Schultz going for the undercut was going to pay off, or do you think it was going to hurt him a bit?
It's funny you say that. This is how much attention I pay. I didn't even realise he'd done it. I had no idea. I was just following Holdsworth and stuff at the front, and I'm thinking, okay, I'll run this fuel out. I had no idea until when he flew past me at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I'm like, did you pit already? What are you doing pitting? So, that's how much attention I paid, mate.
Yeah, right. So you're all focused tonight then, and not worrying about anyone else?
Well, mate, the way I looked at it, no, seriously, it was, we were running at the front, and you got to manage your race. And we had Jason, which really took off really fast at the start, and I was sitting in third as the cycle went through. And to me, well, it was going green. There was no need to jump early because that was only going to hurt you late on in the race. So obviously that put me back a little bit on some of the restarts, but it helped at the back end of the race as well. So I might joke a little bit that it was whatever, but a little bit of strategy did come into it. But that's what we did as a team, and that's why we went 1, 2, 3. So obviously D-Mac should have won that one. I would have pushed him to the win, but we pretty much raced that one flawlessly. And if Tom didn't have the unfortunate incident he had tonight as well, there's no doubt he'd be in there as well. And Adam, after having a little bit of time off, was out there, and he had an unfortunate night as well. So it was just a good night all round. And like I did probably 5 or 6 weeks ago, we come off the super speedways and I jump in and have a win. So that's always good. So I'll probably talk to you again in another 7 weeks.
And before we actually let you go, why don't we talk a little bit about your real life kind of stuff? Because you've started to get into the into your karting kind of thing. Do you think your karting thing has helped you coming back into the sim?
I wouldn't say that, mate. No. Sometimes it's good to get away a little bit as well, and get disattached to stuff. You can really get really into something, and real life motorsport was something that I've been really involved in for 20 odd years. So it's good to just get back out there again and just be a part of it. But I tell you what, the sim is a lot more fun when you jump onto it in a good frame of mind, put it that way.
Well, I want to hear this from you, Aiden. When you had your last outing in karting, what kind of results did you come out with?
It wasn't my results, mate. We won't talk about that. But we had a good day. The driver that I was looking after did have a good day and got the win, so that was good. But not about me. When it comes to the racing, it's all about the other people. So I will talk about that through my socials if you want to see all that type of stuff. It's but it was a good weekend.
Yeah, and the reason why I did mention that is because you did have an involvement in a win. You did help the guy out, and you secured the win. Maybe he gave you a bit of good luck for this one, and looks like might need to knock up on his door and ask for some good luck for next round too, as we head to Darlington. But just before we wrap this all up and have this post-race interview, just thank all your sponsors and people that have got you here.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, mate. Of course, all the guys at Southern Stars Esports, Mishas, Excel Garage, Giona Holiday Parks, Skypoynt. Of course, Tom, Andy, all the guys at Skypoynt for putting on the league. Paul at Indasim. That's weird to say, but because I got nothing to do with it. So Paul at Indasim, amazing man. You're doing a great job, and it's good to watch back. So thanks, guys. And like I said earlier, I'll probably talk to you in 7 weeks.
Sounds good, mate. And good win. Came out with the W and had some awesome luck. I managed to get.
And I need to quickly say too. I did forget a big thank you to Andy and Darren and all the guys at the team. I did say the team, but how we're working at the end there, that was good. So a big thank you to them.
No worries, mate. But we'll wrap this one up. The boys are getting ready to go through with the post-race review. So if you guys do want to check that out, it is on the Skypoynt Racing Facebook page. And just one more shout out to our little fun race that's going to happen on the 20th of December at 7 p.m. Open trucks take on the mountain. We'll have the NASCAR trucks taking on Bathurst Mount Panorama for 3 awesome races, 8 laps. 2 of 8 laps, 1 of 16 laps. Pretty much what we do here, except we have 3 races and we're only on Bathurst. So that's going to be a really cool thing to watch. And make sure to stick out for that one as we head into December pretty quickly. And that's going to be happening open near Christmas. However, next round we head to Darlington. That's going to throw a spanner in the works. Darlington is a much different track than what we're used to. But from Paul, myself, and the Intersim Esports Network, we'll thank you for joining. And we'll see you next time at around 7:30 to head to Darlington and to enjoy the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series once again on a Tuesday night.